Whoa. Whoa. I I don't know, guys, but I'm on clouds. I'm so light. I'm completely. I have no mass. I'm turned into pure energy. E equals mc squared. So yeah, I mean, this writing has turned my mass into energy completely. Hello, IELTS writers. Welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's start assessing an essay today. Genetic engineering is an important issue in society today. Oh gosh, that's a topic I'm not very familiar with, but uh, don't worry about it. IELTS doesn't want you to be masters at a certain field. You don't have to be a genetic engineer to answer this correctly. Whatever knowledge of genetic engineering you have is enough, whatever it is. Basically, what IELTS wants you to say is how you can understand the topic and develop it. And based on that, you will receive a score. So I personally do not know much about genetic engineering, but whatever I know will be definitely enough to address the task and cover it and develop it. So don't worry about the differences in topic. Anyway, let me start reading the rubric all over again. So genetic engineering is an important issue in society today. Good, good. So it's all modern. And of course, genetic engineering is a modern phenomenon or a modern field of education or science. Some people think that it will improve people's lives in many ways. Yeah, surely. Others feel that it may be a threat to life on Earth. Oh, that's also a legitimate threat. That's a legitimate concern. Discuss both views and give your opinion. This is just such a beautiful rubric. The topic is about genetic engineering, and it's a modern phenomenon. And then there are two camps. Some believe it's going to revolutionize everything in human lives. And there are some who believe that, oh gosh, you just need to be careful. There are some threats that come with it. And we need to address and develop both these camps' opinions and then come up with our own. Now, let's go ahead and see what the response has to offer. Genetic modification or genetic engineering. It's also okay, genetic modification. Genetic modification is one of the most controversial issues today. You can also pronounce it controversial issues, and again, the pronunciation is fine. While its supporters count it as an empowerment, it's a good word, tool to increase the quality of human life, its opposition see the empty half of the glass. I see what you did there. Yeah, the glass is half empty, so they see the empty half of the glass, worrying about its foreseeable implications. This is such an amazing collocation. Wow. Not only on human life, but also on other forms of life on Earth. There is a lot to unpack. So let me get to it. First, using idiomatic language is a very, very, very risky move. It's not good, it's not bad. If you know how to use it in that context, and you need to make sure the wording is correct, and the context is correct, and the writer doesn't suspect whether you know the correct meaning of the idiom or don't. So there are a lot of ifs. And you also need to consider that when you learn an idiom, it can only be used in certain topics, in certain circumstances. So the usage is so narrow. that there isn't much value in learning an idiom unless you want to learn it, I don't know, to live in an English-speaking country, in that specific English-speaking country, because idioms vary from a country to country. Like the idioms in Canada are different from the idioms in England, and there are totally different idioms in Australia. Plus, even in, for instance, England, even in London, there are certain idioms that they work there and they don't work in other cities like Manchester. So if you want to learn idioms, first, don't learn them for IELTS. And if you want to use them, you need to be 100% sure that this is the right place and the wording is correct. And it's, you know, coming up with everything like this during the exam condition or under the exam condition during your exam is just very risky. So that's one thing I wanted to say. I love the collocation. I told you already. This is also very correct. Now, collocations, on the other hand, we encourage you guys to learn. It's very easy to learn. If you know foreseeable, if you know for implications, it's even better to know that these two go together and they can come up and they can create a new concept. So collocations are very good. And very good is not a, it doesn't serve justice to this. But if you're thinking of expanding your vocabulary in the shortest amount of time, but with the highest results, learning collocations is your answer. I'll put a lesson about collocations in the description below. It takes just a couple of minutes to read, but please do go ahead and read it. It's fascinating. And this third thing I wanted to say is we are now touching on both the individual aspects of this phenomenon, which is genetic engineering, and its ramifications, or I mean, its side effects, or its effects in general on the planet Earth. So, I mean, both are addressed here. So the writer knows that these are the key elements IELTS wants to see. And rightfully, he or she put both of them actually into the introduction to show to IELTS that, look, I got the point. I know what you want me to talk about. Okay, that was a beautiful introduction. I need to continue reading the rest of the essay. The most bigoted opposition, of genetic engineering cannot deny its huge achievements. Oh, I see. Nice. Huge achievements. So there are achievements. For example, all right, we're giving example as description. Let's see how it turns out. Scientists have succeeded in raising productivity of agriculture, the productivity of agricultural products. And this is generic, but we only need one element to be generic. This has to be known. This is generic. We say it's the productivity of agricultural products, all products. This is general, but we are talking about the productivity of that generic aspect, such as grains, beans, etc. Very good. Correct punctuation would dictate us to put a full stop at the end of etc. because it's an abbreviation, and it's an abbreviation of a Latin word, not English. So it is formal to write it in abbreviated form, etc. Because etc. Is not an English word. So basically you just need to put it here. And after that, you need a comma right after full stop. So this full stop represents the abbreviated format of this word, and it has nothing to do with our range of punctuation. We need a comma after this. I know it looks weird. You put a full stop and next to it is a comma. Yeah, I know. I hear you. Some accept a comma and some don't, it is safe to put a comma. No one will penalize you for putting a comma after etc. It is still correct. Through modifications of their genome. Wow. Now this is a genre-specific word. You know genome. This is now ringing a bell in my head that the vocabulary range is between 7 and 9. It's either varied or wide. Let's see. And this has led to a remarkable reduction, because this is countable, in global hunger. Global hunger. Wow. I mean, look at these words. And has consequently reduced, this is mid position, so it is used correctly between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. So we don't need any commas. Has consequently reduced the number of people starving, oh my God, on a daily basis across the world. Look at the vocabulary. It's just so colorful, beautiful. Furthermore, once incurable diseases, we are generalizing again, and it is countable, like blood cancer, has become treatable. I could put like blood cancer in a pair of bracketing commas, or I could just leave it as it is. Both methods work. If I were the writer, I would put a bracketing comma before like and after cancer. Has become treatable, beautiful, to some extent. Utilizing, which utilizes or which utilize, and it becomes the present participle format. We use ing. This is an advanced grammatical point. In vitro growth of stem cells. I'm okay, guys. Guys, oh my God, I don't know what to say. Oh, I mean, love. How beautiful. I mean, I can't believe this is so beautiful. I'm out of this world. I feel so light. You know, I feel like a bubble is going up. I feel as light as that. Okay, which is one of the latest achievements of genetic engineering. Okay, nice. So we talked about the benefits of genetic engineering, the human genome, and also curing diseases which were incurable or were supposed to be incurable, and were thought these guys cannot cure it anyway. And the hunger. So I see. Look about. So you see, we have hunger and food, grains. You know, we talk about the effects of that on the planet, and then we also talk about the individual, like disease and cancer and how to cure it. I mean, it works both ways. Beautiful. This paragraph serves the individual and the entire planet together. I don't want to continue, guys. I really love reading this, but hey, there is more to come. Let's continue. Besides countless undeniable positive effects. Beside? Countless undeniable positive effects of genetic engineering on human lives. Should be lives. Its adverse, wow, effects, excellent collocation here. Adverse effects. It's just nice. I mean, this one. And the environment should not be overlooked. For instance, one of the most disastrous incidents in genetic engineering history happened when a colony of genetically modified bees escaped from a laboratory in Chile in 1987. Wow. Nice. Wow, I didn't know that. Due to as yet unknown as a yet unknown factor or as yet unknown factors, the bees, this is just such an amazing opening. The bees that were under test in order to create a more resistant type against diseases, pluralized, had, guys, this is called dash. This is not a hyphen. And dash usually comes in pairs. And as you can see, it's an equivalent of bracketing comma, but it gives us a much larger distraction. And this is a distraction. I can simply ignore this part and jump from before all the way to the after words. Like the bees that were under test had turned to extremely violent flying monsters. So I don't need to read this, but it gives me extra information. It is a stronger distraction than bracketing comma. Bracketing comma serves the exact same purpose, but it's light, gives a lighter distraction for us to read, and it doesn't affect the flow of information. Here, the writer actually is telling me that you don't have to read this part, you can just skip it, because it is a bit of information that if you know or you don't know doesn't affect your understanding of my message. This is magnificent control over punctuation. Oh, I mean, wow. Violent flying monsters. Violent flying monsters. Which nothing was protected against their attacks. I need a comma here before which. We know we're talking about bees, so this is not a defining relative clause. You don't have to define which type of monsters they were. It's just extra information. Again, you need a comma. It's non-defining relative clause. Later, these small predators caused the extinction of several different animal species, and this way contributed in the nationwide drought and famine that struck the country in 1992. So in 1992, there was a drought, and we're getting information about that. And this drought was caused by just a lab in Chile. Wow. The example is so telling and so convincing. The example has some massive implications that I am convinced this example alone is giving me the description. This is well done. This is beautifully, magnificently done, not just well done. Oh, it's the last paragraph. It's the conclusion. In conclusion, I personally view genetic engineering as a game changer, which can even be a door to a utopia. Oh, wow, wow, wow. I don't know, guys, but I'm on clouds. I'm so light. I'm completely, I have no mass. I'm turned into pure energy. E equals mc squared. So, yeah, I mean, this writing has turned my mass into energy completely. Where there is no incurable diseases, however, correctly punctuated, the stronger a weapon is, comma, the deadlier backfire it can cause. Okay. You saw that I hesitated a bit. Yeah, it needed a punctuation mark here. Another very good grammatical structure. Therefore, we need to be extra cautious. Nice. And strictly regulate genetic modification so that minimize unintentional negative effects. To minimize unintentional negative effects of it. Or so that unintentional negative effects of it are minimized. Something similar. Furthermore, a tough integrated international supervision system seems to be vital in order to make the abuse of genetic modification almost impossible. Okay. I received the response for the first camp, the second camp, and also the writer's opinion. The writer's opinion is in the conclusion. It doesn't have anything new. The writer believes that it is important, but we also need some regulations, which is also there. So the writer believes both camps are correct in their methods, and we need them both. So 336 words. Let's look at the band descriptors. And yes. Well, do you want me to put any comments here? Really? Really? I mean, really? Do you want me to say anything here? All right. The organization of the events was logical, but wasn't sequential. Maybe we could talk about the elements, like the items that we were going to talk, or the bases of the belief for each camp. And there was just one "so that" at the end, which was not used accurately. So it doesn't deserve 7 and it cannot get to 9. That's all. Lexical resource vocabulary was, I mean, again, there was really nothing else I can suggest, other than maybe the idiomatic language at the very beginning that was said in a way to be funny and to tell the reader that it is something I know. The writer wanted to say that. But, you know, that's when you talk about idiomatic language, it's a very risky move. Sometimes it's not, it doesn't serve what you think it should, or it would. And yeah, that's all. That's it. I had a couple of punctuation errors. Very, very rare errors, really. And the grammatical structures were very, very varied to be called wide. We needed to see maybe 1 or 2 other structures, complex structures, to convey, to convince us to give a 9 for grammatical range and accuracy. Anyway, well-deserved 7.5. Well-deserved. And I'm talking to you guys from up there, from heavens, on a bit of on a piece of cloud, and telling you that, remember, your essays, letters, and reports can be such representatives that can send the readers up on the sky and completely transform their mass into energy. So I need to come back from from clouds and record another video for you guys. So until next time, make sure your representatives will absolutely do that. Until then, take care.